I'll miss you out, don't worry.
Marcus, would you say this is still your team? And did you ever think that Bryce would be in a conversation as being that team leader?
I think it's still my team, but I don't think it's any question who our number one option is in terms of offense and, you know, who's been the most productive and all that stuff. Bryce is having one of the best seasons that I can recall since I've been in college. So there's no dispute there. But in terms of leadership position, he's really stepped up this year in that regard. But I think people still look to me as the leader of the team.
And do you mind offering some perspective on not living up or not meeting the expectations that we set on you as far as preseason player of the year and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I'd like to be in that situation or right in the running for that, but my team's in first place, and my best friend and teammate is doing exactly what everyone thought I was going to do. So, you know, if anyone else is going to do it, you know, it's pretty cool that it's Bryce. He's always had the ability to be that guy, and he stepped up, and our season's kind of shifted towards, you know, playing through him, and it's been a fun ride, even though it's definitely hasn't been exactly the way I thought it would be. But I got no issues with it, and yeah, that's just life sometimes.
You mentioned Bryce being kind of the focal option. Has that changed y'all's relationship? Because you've been always kind of been the guy that's, I guess, not castigating, but kind of you've gotten on him in your career. Has that changed your relationship between the two of you guys at all, with him being the number one option?
Nah, not really. The only thing that's changed about it is I have less to get on him about. I mean, honestly, what can I say to him? He's been a man in a lot of these games, you know, really big time performances, and a lot of things I would say to him usually I had to, you know, remind myself to do. So that's been the only difference. But if I can find a way, I'll still get on him when I can.
Has he thrown any of the same stuff back at you that you used to throw at him?
That's not really his personality. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he did, but that's just not really his style. So no, he hasn't really done that.
You said less to get on him. Is there still stuff you get on him for?
Yeah. I mean,
Like
it's
what?
Bryce.
What would be some examples of it?
Still, you know, just the little things that, you know, Coach probably talks about, and, you know, I want more out of Bryce and Kennedy, that kind of thing. I'm like the mini version of Coach in that regard, where I still try to get those guys to be as good as they can be. And with Bryce, it's just little stuff. Like if he misses a box out, I'm like, come on, Bryce, you got 25 rebounds, but you could have had 30. Like, think about that. So just little stuff like that. But man, he's having a fantastic year. So he also knows that I'm really happy with what he's doing.
You've had now a couple games, or more than one game, where you've been able to run a little bit more point. You know, what are kind of the things that you feel like you're able to do that are able to bring at that spot, or has it made you more comfortable? How do you feel like kind of have a little bit more time to maybe just after Miami?
Yeah, I think it allows, first of all, it allows Theo and Justin to be on the court together, and that wing combination has been really successful for us in the limited time that it's had. But I think that's going to happen more now that Joel and I are kind of sharing point guard responsibilities, and it just makes me more comfortable because that's my natural position. I'm matched up with a point guard instead of like a 6'7" 2-man, and then I just get to play in areas that I'm used to playing, that I've played my whole career, and get to the spots that I'm usually getting to. So it's just a comfort and feel thing, but I think it benefits guys like Theo and Justin more.
Are you able to be a little more creative than maybe some younger guys on the team as far as entry passes? It seems like you're more comfortable kind of throwing over the top of guys if they're from Bryce or Kennedy, and be a little more touch passes, things like that.
Yeah, I've always, I think, taken more chances than some of our other guards. Maybe I've had the freedom to do that. I don't know what it is, but I like to throw the ball in the post because that's where we know it's supposed to go. And this year, it's been a pretty good thing for us. We can get it inside, whether it's pitching it ahead to them running or, you know, throwing the ball inside off an entry pass. So I don't know. I guess it's just something I look to do a lot. And when I'm the point guard, I have more opportunities to do that. So I'll try to keep that up.
What percentage did you play off the ball your sophomore year? Because you were a shooting guard then too as well.
Yeah, well, I started the started the years as a shooting guard because Leslie was out. But our offense was really like screen for Marcus, try to get Marcus the ball. That was like the focal. Everything we did was basically through me offensively. So that's what's different about this year is I'm playing off the ball, but like we have a really good offensive team. So it's not necessarily like where does Marcus get Marcus the ball, screen for Marcus. it's nothing like that. And then once Leslie came back, I was point guard for a lot more than I was shooting guard.
Okay. Do you feel like for you guys this year to reach y'all's potential that you have to have a big role in the offense, or can you guys make a Final Four run with you just kind of been doing what you're doing?
I think we can make a Final Four run with me as long as I'm being productive. I don't have to score 15 points a game or be sitting right behind Bryce in terms of production. Justin's been playing great, and he's a great option for us. But I think I just need to be involved in terms of playmaking and staying aggressive. I also need to make some shots. I think that's important. Our outside shooting is going to be really important. And it's not just me, it's Nate, it's Joel, it's Justin. Being able to keep defenses honest so we can continue to get the ball in the paint, where I think we're like best in the country in terms of points in the paint. So it's not necessarily about me scoring a lot, it's about making shots and keeping defenses having to play every option that we have.
With Justin stepping up the last 5 games and playing more like what we thought we were going to see on a consistent level, are you applying a little less pressure on yourself to produce than you did during that stretch in January when Justin also wasn't producing?
Yeah, I mean, when shots are going in for my teammates, then I don't have to make as many. But I've never really put a whole lot of pressure on myself, especially this year, just because we have so many guys capable of getting it done. When I started shooting bad in that slump, then I put some pressure on myself to make shots, but it was never a thing where I felt like I had to carry the load offensively or anything like that.
You guys have been really fast this year, even faster than you were last year
Mhm.
by a pretty significant margin. A big part of that, it seems like, it's been Justin being able to run the floor, be aggressive in transition. Have you guys said anything to him to get him, to be like, hey, run, attack the basket, or is that just natural? How does that work?
He's just really good at getting out in the open court and running the floor. He's probably our best lane filler that we have. When we secure the ball, he's gone. A lot of times he gets probably 4 to 6 points a game off of uncontested sprint out layups. And he also helps on the backboards too. So I think it's something he's just really good at because we don't have to remind him a whole lot to run. Whereas like me, Theo, Nate, coach will kind of be like, run. So Justin's just really good at getting out in the open court.
And how important is that, being able to have those weapons? And I think against State you shot a bunch of shots like 25, 26 seconds on the shot clock. Against a team like Virginia that is pretty good at setting up quick, can you beat them down the court, or do you have to kind of play the way that they play?
I don't think we're going to be able to beat them on the court for a lot of the game, but we have to take advantage of the opportunities we get to beat them down the court. They're terrific defensively. They slow the game down. I think they're like dead last in tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be obviously a contrasting styles game for us, where we have to do a good job on the defensive backboards so that we can get some opportunities to run. It's kind of the thing with us is there are games where we're prone to giving up offensive rebounds, but when we get the defensive rebound, we're pretty much lethal on the break. So whichever one of those things gives will be a big teller for the game.
You guys were able to force tempo last year in the ACC tournament against Virginia. Kind of what was the key to that? Because they played a lot faster than they wanted to.
Man, I'm having a hard time remembering how or why. Usually we're pretty good at that.
So in general terms, what's kind of the key to forcing tempo and getting them out of what they want to do?
The key is getting some stops against them because they run that really methodical offense with the flare screens and the baseline screens. And if they get a basket after working the clock for 25 seconds, it's hard to get the ball out and go because they're able to get back and get their defense set. So I think they're not going to turn it over a whole bunch, but maybe forcing a couple of turnovers or getting some long defensive rebounds that lead to breaks are the most important. Like I said, we won't get a whole lot of those opportunities just because of how they play, but we need to capitalize on each one we do.
What's the key defensively against Malcolm Brogdon, and what's your experience level against him?
Man, he's good. I mean, he's shooting the ball better from the outside than he has in the past, and he's so strong. He can get to the basket, and he's kind of one of those guys that when the game is in question, he likes to have the ball in his hands and kind of will his team to victory. He's tough. You just got to stay consistent with him. If he makes a tough shot, just come back next time and challenge him again. And he moves so well without the ball too. I think he's one of the 2 or 3 best players in the ACC this year. So there's not a whole lot you can do defensively because he's a complete guard. But making him work for everything he gets, since he's the key to their offense, and they're not the best offensive team if he's struggling. So if we can just get him off his game a little bit, whether it's throwing size at him or quickness, or we'll probably give him a bunch of different looks.
Their defense has been pretty well documented, but is there one thing about what they do that really stands out that makes it difficult to attack?
Yeah, I mean, they're not a team that gets out and denies every passing lane or anything like that, but they just don't make a lot of mistakes. It's like they build a wall, their little pack line defense, and it's tough to get the ball in the areas where we can shoot high percentage shots. Like they're all about taking guarded twos. You know, if you can take a long guarded two, then they had a good possession defensively, and they're really good at forcing teams to do that. So just finding a way to get the ball inside, where we know they'll probably double team our bigs and get the ball close to the basket to where they don't have to take a lot of time. They can just catch it and go up, and then also getting in transition any way we can.
Awareness, I would think, against them is probably more at a premium than most other teams you play. When a guy's open, you got to get him to him right then and there at that time.
Yeah. I mean, we hang our hat on being one of the fastest and most prolific offenses. They hang their hat on being a tough defensive team that's going to grind it out every game. So you got to take advantage of any lapses they have in their defense, and we just got to try to pick it apart, and that's what's going to make Saturday fun.
Marcus, they've lost one home game in 4 years, and they got you the past 2 times you've gone up. Is there something that makes them tougher to beat there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty impressive stat. I think we've only lost one home game this year, so that's pretty cool. But obviously, home court advantage is a big thing, and they've had a good team. You know, if you think about their back-to-back ACC champions in the regular season, they've had some terrific players and really good teams the past 4 years. That's helped them a ton. So I always think it's more about who you have than where you're playing. But obviously, playing at home gives them a big edge, and I feel like they are definitely thinking they need this game for the ACC hunt, for a #1 seed, the tournament hunt, and everything. And we feel the same way. So something's got to give tomorrow.
This is a little bit weird, but it seems to be every time around February or early March, everyone gets up in an uproar because a video clip of somebody like throwing an elbow or tripping somebody or doing something that's like vaguely dirty on a basketball court. It comes out and everyone gets outraged about it. From a player's perspective, how often does that type of thing happen that maybe like we don't notice? I mean, like, I mean, how frequently do little kind of chippy things and maybe borderline dirty plays happen?
Well, I feel like nowadays you can't really do anything without some type of camera receiving it. So it's probably not as much as you would think. You know, maybe 10 years ago you'd say stuff like that happens all the time. No one ever knows about it, but not in this day and age. There's like a million cameras going on. Somebody's going to catch you if you do something. And you know, I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but yeah, you can't do that kind of stuff because you're going to get caught, and you probably just shouldn't do it in the first place.
Is that a hard adjustment? Because you typically are coming from high school where like there are no cameras, and
Yeah.
you can kind of, you know, you can pull something and get away with it, and then you're in college and every move is seen. Is that a difficult adjustment to kind of, as a young guy, to keep your emotions in check?
I think keeping your emotions in check is a tough adjustment, but I also think if you're at, you know, a place like UNC, you're going to understand your circumstances, and you know, you got people telling you that there's cameras on you 24/7, so I don't know.
I know you guys look at things one game at a time, but a couple of weeks down the road, if you guys take care of business, you'll probably start out the NCAA tournament in Raleigh, which is huge. The last 4 NCAA tournaments this program's won, they started out in state. Have you think about that at all? Is that a factor in the equation of the other things you can achieve in addition to a regular season title and #1 seed playing in Raleigh?
Yeah, I think that's one of our goals. But the good thing about that is our current goals will take care of that. You know, we really want to win the ACC regular season title and make a good run in the ACC tournament. If we do those things, then we'll be fine. We'll probably be playing in Raleigh, and we understand the importance of that in terms of what you just said. Playing 20 minutes away for your first weekend in the NCAA tournament is huge. So yeah, that's part of why this game tomorrow is so big. Monday night is so big, and then our final regular season game is so big because those all give us a chance to separate ourselves from the pack and ensure ourselves a position to play in Raleigh.
Couple more.
I know the focus is on Virginia tomorrow, but senior night coming up
Yeah.
on Monday. Is there a sense of kind of where did this whole thing go and how quickly time flies, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
initially when you think about that?
It's wild how fast it goes. Part of me feels like I've been here forever, and then part of me also feels like I just got here and was a freshman. And I've been going back and looking at old clips and stuff of me my freshman year. And then the other day I came in here and I was just like, dang, I only get to run out of that tunnel one more time in a Tar Heel uniform. So it's crazy. And all my focus is on Virginia, obviously. But it's hard as a human being not to think going out to practice today, still in the back of my mind, you'd be like, I only have one more game in here. Where's the time going? When did I get so old? But yeah, it's been a fun ride.
What clips have you watched?
Well, I watched I just wanted to see what I don't remember what I looked like my freshman year, like on the basketball court. So I went and watched a couple games. I watched the ACC tournament, ACC championship game, the Miami game. And that was a fun one. But I just wanted to remember what I looked like wearing the t-shirt and ankle braces and stuff. And I was like, man, I look like a 14-year-old out there. But yeah, it's been fun, man.
Mark Godfrey kind of said the other night about Bryce, he was saying that today it seems like kids kind of have a stigma about staying in college until your senior year and playing. What are kind of your thoughts on that, like in terms of players' view of being a senior?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, you know, in terms of like next level projections and stuff, there's a negative stigma on senior, like if he's still in college and what's wrong with his game. But you've also seen instances where seniors have really dominated. I think of Jeremy Grant last year. He was terrific his whole senior year, and you know now he's doing well for himself. Bryce this year, I think he's made himself a lot of money, honestly, by coming back to school and maturing, and he's going to have his degree and everything. So, you know, it just depends on a person-to-person basis, but I don't think there's anything wrong with staying 4 years. And gives you a chance to finish your schooling and develop, and if you could make a leap in your senior year, you're going to be pretty good. And Bryce is a perfect example of that.